Right. Step number 2 is the removal of democracy. Not just the democracy, but all kinds of rules across the world. This is King Kalki, the 10th avatar, the holder of the wheel of time, speaking to you, to all of you who are ready to listen. So, back to the step 2, which comes after the step 1, after the unveiling and taking all the power behind of religions. So all the religions will be able to, will give me the power of their followers. And from that on, there will be a kind of a federation religion. Not federation, but will be still council. Continue to spread the religion, because as I said before, we brought that separation of gods of different messengers for the very reason to keep people close to God. Because it would have been impossible to keep billions of people believing in something that they have not experienced. Okay, so it was nothing to do with the right or wrong. It was all to do with the system. The system needed to bring people together, to keep God still alive on their minds and in their consciousness. Okay, so that was the case. Now, on step number 2, where all the powers across the world, no matter what you are, democracy, Prince King, I don't know what on earth goes on anymore as a democracy and dictatorship and socialism and communism and all that. As every single one of those ideologies has lost the point of all of it. Why is that? Because there is no more where to go with these ideologies, and no one should even tempt to survive the capitalism in ways set up at the moment. Do not. Anyway, so that will be the step number 2, devolving everything out. I know everything in the most details, this information now, how we're going to go about it. First, once all the powers of the democracy, capitalism, whatever the people have chosen to be commanded by, all of them will be dissolved in a coalition of kings and queens and princes and kings, whatever it is, okay, whatever they got in a system. After that, there will be a working group, scholars, basically scholars, all the geologists, cosmologists, scientists, artists. Every sector will have a representation of cultures. So every country should be preparing a report of the necessary things they require, what is required for them to build their life, their community, their country in the way they want to build it. Okay, so we're going to take all across the world, all the consideration. Most of them will be done by the very people that live there. There will be also the immigration, the refugees, and also the plans and the rules that are in place already. We should keep the necessary ones, which keep the function of everything to continue to survive, to live. But all the political parties, all the ideologies, all the beliefs, they all have to come in one place to understand that this is a fight against time now. Once you got the clock backwards clicking, you have the time to work against you now. It's not anymore like it was in Enlightenment age, where the time was confused and no one knew where exactly we were sitting into. Okay? Predictions are already happening. We are into the prediction. We're losing time in the prediction at the moment. So the refugees, all the refugees need to go back in their homes. All of them, no matter what you are, where you are, if you are not recorded in the country you are sitting right now, if you have no passport to stay in that country, you need to kind of make a way to the country you want to be. You know, and all the borders of every country should be closed down with immediate effect. Keep the borders locked in. We're going to need to get a system organized. Without organizing the system, we cannot start. So the second step is the biggest step to all of this, because imagine telling millions of ideas, and God knows what they believe, that this is the time to connect and to build together. I'm sure that 90% of which is the poor people who follow this with me. There's that hard 10% of capitalism, which is the actual stop at the moment, you know, which is not allowing the things to move. It's the actual 10% who holds the wealth, holds the political views, all of this. That's how little the political party has represented in entire humanity. Only 10%. Only 10% of wealth. No matter which side you came. Because if you're a communist, you still did the same thing. If you're a dictator, you still did the same thing. If you're a socialist, you still did the same thing. If you're a communist, you still did the same thing. If you're a Democrat, you still did the same thing. And if you're a Republican, you still did the same thing. If you're a Labour, you still did the same thing. And if you were conservative, you did the same thing. All of you did the same thing. As soon as you got power, that power was passed to the others who did not have power before previous time. And that system has to come down. There's no way on earth we can allow this ridiculous understanding of democracy, freedom of speech, in the way we understand it. It's wrong and it's awful. And that's the truth, and you know it. You know it because what I'm saying, you'll verify it through your experience. You'll see through my words, I'm not going after any of you in a personal way. I'm going after the teaching that humans have provided for other humans. Because that has been wrong, has been manipulated, has been hidden from you. So to put those all together, we need to wake up. So as I explained, step number 2 was simple: to get all the powers across the world in coalition parties or coalition governments to govern while the transaction happens. And that would be regarding Brexit. Right. Brexit will happen no matter what. Why the Brexit will happen with this new process? Because the most important points, closing the borders, controlling your own laws, what's the other one? And control of movement is already been taken care by the nature. Okay? We're already taken care. It's taken care by the nature because and if we want to open them up, we will not be able to because of the virus in the system already. The only thing we need to do, make it organized. Put the process behind those ideas the Brexiteers had. As for Remainers, it's Remainers, right? Yes. As for Remainers, the same thing. Nothing of you will be taken away from Europe, because none of us now can afford to use the whole process of the rules. Okay? So that will be make a deal right now. In about by August, a deal will be signed between UK and Europe regarding Brexit. Well, that's all for the moment. Second step, I can reveal a lot of other things regarding the second step. It's so many processes we're going to go through, so many changes we're going to go through. But I have to relieve that story slowly as the process. But process number 1 is not in my hand, it's in the hand of all regions. Process number two. That is entirely on mine, and I know that in the back of my head. Okay. Have a good day. I'll do step number 3 when the step number 1 will evolve.